Okay, so I decided to record a part 2. Well, I'll start doing a Soviet turn 2 if you're still not at war by this time. Whether you will be or not depends on, well, the Axis player or players you're playing against, so that's up to them, not up to you. But if you're not at war, I'll show you what I'd do. But first off, I'll explain why I did this. Put the 3 infantry from Vyborg to Karelia. The reason I do that is because, presuming they'd have an infantry stack in Finland, if they want to go to Vyborg, then I could go into Finland myself and potentially get 5 IPCs from that, because pro-Axis territory, an original pro-Axis territory, that the USSR takes, they'll get 3 extra bucks for it, plus what the territory is worth, so Finland's worth 5 for them, so I'd like to do that. Just lets me fight a stalemate that I like up in Karelia there. If I want to bring the infantry down to Leningrad, then I will, but if I don't, then I won't. Okay, so I'll show you what I bought, and this is what I plan to buy until I'm at war. And even when I'm at war, I'll just do variations of this. Mostly, I'd say. That's 3 infantry. Okay. The stacks that I separate sort of confuse me, I'd say. 5 infantry, an artillery, and 3 tanks. I'm fine with the amount of artillery I have for the most part right now, I'd say. I just want to get 1 per turn. And then the 3 tanks. I want to get that per turn so I can get quite a big tank stack, I'd say. I'd say typically by around turn 8 or 9, when the Germans push me back, quite a bit, I'd say. I typically stall in Bryansk by that point, I'd say. It's likely they'd had Ukraine and Leningrad. I have around 15-ish tanks, so I like doing that. I like to get tank stacks of that number. I like counterattacking, and this video isn't about showing you how to counterattack, like situations for that. This is just the positioning I do, so. Well, I'll get on to that, so. It's not really all that complicated in my opinion, but I'll show you. So, move the units that I bought last turn from Ukraine up here, and these infantry and artillery, and the anti-aircraft from Bryansk over to western Ukraine. So now I got 3 artillery there, and I added 3 infantry. So we got 9 infantry in western Ukraine now. And 3 artillery. This is still awkward in my opinion. Okay. 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 I keep the tanks and mechanized infantry in Bryansk still. Move the tank that I bought down to Bryansk. For a tactical bomber in Moscow to Leningrad. That's the last plane I plan on buying, probably, I'd say. So, right on tacky there. My apologies. I'd say I'm having trouble doing things in the game while looking at the camera, because I'm looking at the board actually and not the camera, because it's disorienting for me to look at the actual camera, I'd say. Okay, so I want to move down the artillery and 2 infantry from Leningrad to Belarus. I got 8 infantry on there now, so I'm gonna have 10 on this turn. So yeah, you can attack with 19 infantry on eastern Poland if they go there. And, we got 5 infantry on Leningrad at the end of this turn. uh, or 4. That's good enough amount in my opinion, unless they build a stack of transports to come after you. And then you got 2 artillery down there, so you got if they just go to eastern Poland, or something, you can put quite a bit of resources at them, I'd say. Right now, I'll ship this artillery just so you can see. You can hit them with, let's see, 19 infantry, 3 tanks, 2 mechanized infantry, 5 artillery, 2 fighters, 2 tactical bombers. And that's not counting the infantry from Baltic states or Bessarabia, so that's pretty good in my opinion. But, yeah, so that's something I do. Okay, move this sub to Normandy like I was saying before. And, move the 2 infantry from Rostov. I always want to move the infantry in Siberia there over to the European side of the board. But if I want to help out China, I'd do that. I'd say usually if China gets they start walling in like the northernmost territory, northwesternmost territory of China against Japan, I like to move, at minimum, at least 1 Soviet infantry there, because if they attack that Soviet infantry, then the Mongolian rule will kick in. So I like doing that. And, if I'm doing comfortable on the European side, I'd say, then I might move more. Wouldn't mind getting an anti-aircraft in there. Depends on the situation, but that's just an idea I have. I don't know why this cruiser's here now. I wanted it in 114. Usually, I'd say. Okay. So, that looks pretty good for me. That's what I want, so I'll place my units. I'm going to place 3 infantry in Ukraine, and then the 2 infantry and artillery in Leningrad there. You can mix it up, you can place it in either place, but for me, having 4 artillery in the southern area of the USSR is more than I really need, if you ask me. Because you only got, in total, you would have 11 right now, and then if I place 2 infantry and an artillery, I'd have 13 infantry and then 4 artillery, which isn't bad in my opinion. Depending on the game, I might do that. Just depends, if I want more artillery for the north or more for the south or whatever the Germans do. Just react in that way. But for this, I'll just put the 2 infantry in 2 infantry artillery Leningrad, 3 infantry in Ukraine. It's just an example of how I do it. I just like doing this purchase. Exactly where you place them depends on how the Germans are positioned. If I'm looking for heavy counterattacks in the south, then I'd want to do that. But, if I'm not, then looking for more in the north, then I put it in the north. It's just what it is. Oh, this isn't a 5. It's supposed to be 5 in Ukraine. You got a green on each side because of the 2 infantry from Rostov. But okay, 5 infantry in Ukraine. The 3 tanks in Moscow. This is how I like doing it. And then I got 4 infantry in Leningrad right now. And an artillery. So there you go. That's turn 2. Turn 3, not really going to be that different, I'd say. Move 2 infantry down from Leningrad, move all the infantry from Ukraine to Western Ukraine. That's it. So, and then I just do that, move the 3 tanks to Bryansk. Just keep it like that. So yeah, you move those tanks down. If they go on turn 4, you're going to have 6 tanks sitting in Bryansk there. That's how I do it. That's how I do it with the USSR. They're one of my favorite nations to play in this game. I sort of wish I could make longer videos. I could make multiple parters, but I'm not into that as much. But this is just an example of, well, that's what I do. Right now, this is what I do. You can mix it up. I mix it up depending on what the opponent does, but usually this is around the things I want to do. So give it a close up for you there. Not even sure how well you can see it, but okay, trying to hold it center. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So goodbye. If I upload this, right now I'm feeling like I will. I guess I'll see. Maybe we'll see. Depends. Goodbye.